I guess last KWRASC meeting, apparently I got a new job. It's a national rep.
Serves you right.
Well, that's good. I had volunteered, so thanks very much for Jim to twist my arm and for doing it. So one of the things that one of the first emails I got was the concern around green lasers and what's happening there. So I guess my first question is, how many people in the club here have a green laser? Whoa. Okay. How many people know what all the regulations are around the green laser? Some of you. Some of you.
You're probably all wrong.
Well, this presentation is about the regulations around the green lasers, so it's not quite as exciting as the telescope talks. So what some clubs have done, you need a certificate in quotation marks. And the club executive needs to know what's going on. I'll just go through what needs to happen, and then we can decide at the end what you guys want to do. I do have some of the tests here. If anybody wants to stay after and actually do the test and get certified, the certification lasts for 3 years. I'll go through this because it gives all the information on that. So. What this is simply the training for certification as a green laser pointer user or spotter. You need 2 people to use one. And upon successful completion of the course and the exam, and the exam's not onerous. Some of the questions are pretty self-explanatory. And then obviously, thanks for everybody that's doing this, because obviously you're using it on outreach. So first thing that happened, there's this interim order that came from Transport Canada saying green lasers are essentially banned. And there are 5 milliwatts, not megawatts.
Megawatt would be way too much.
That's to the moon. Milliwatts is the maximum power that you can have for a green laser. And then it also provides links to an interactive map, which doesn't work, I found doesn't work very well. But I've got another map I'll show you at the end that deals with the airports. And this will be made into a regulation to allow for easier enforcement. So at some point, somebody might tap you on the shoulder if you're using a green laser to ask you for your certificate of use. And it obviously provides exemption for astronomy use. And to get that exemption, it's the Canadian Aviation Regulation 601-20. If you're taking the test, remember that. And it's got fines and penalties. If obviously you've seen some things in the paper about green lasers being shone at airplanes and being reported, and people trying to find where it came from, which is pretty tough to do, but still not a good thing to do.
Just a point, I don't know, with all the protests going on in Hong Kong, if anybody's watching the video of the rioting, you'll see green laser spots everywhere. Mm-hmm. These people are pointing them, trying to blind the police and others intentionally. It's an amazing spectacle. Have you seen this? Anybody seen that?
Yeah.
They were using them 10 years ago in Cairo at helicopters that were flying over.
Yeah.
The whole helicopter was covered with green laser.
Yeah.
So it deals with the projection of any bright light into the airspace above us. So it's not just green lasers, it's any bright light. So if you got a big spotlight, you got to be careful how you use that too. And then it has a requirement to apply for a permit to project into airspace. And that's where KWRASC comes in, because they've got a permit to use the green laser. But you got to comply with some things, and these are some of the things that you got to do. You got to be 18 years of age or older. Most of us here qualify.
Not me.
That's hard.
Physical, not emotional age.
Must be a RASC member in good standing for at least 2 years. And that's, I guess, to prevent people from joining RASC to get this and then dropping out again.
That's good.
And you must have completed this green laser pointer training course successfully in the past 3 years. Not onerous. And then the RASC holds this global permit for use of green laser pointers outside the 10-kilometer zone around certified airports. And I'll put the map up here at the end. We couldn't use one here. Anywhere in KW pretty well, unless you're even way over on the west side, you're getting into airports that are steep.
I'm just wondering if we were to kind of list the spots where we might use them, can you certify that they are more than like, you know, knowing these maps and where these airports are?
We could do that. Yeah, that's possible.
I know the map very well, and yeah, you just give me a location, I'll tell you if it's.
Well, there's Tilkers in
No, Tilkers is okay. Oddly enough,
pretty close to
Guelph is okay.
I don't understand, the problem I have is I don't understand why Guelph is okay. It says certified airports. Well, is it
Guelph
like
has-
registered airports?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It doesn't take into account the airport of Guelph.
Which doesn't make sense.
Maybe it's just a VFR airport, but basically
Yeah, so
that's.
maybe they mean Commercial Transport Canada certified airport like KW and.
Maybe it's just maybe it's they don't fly out at night.
Yeah.
But anyway, I've been through all this at the General Assembly in May.
Right.
And yeah, so I'm pretty well versed on the map and.
So
everything
Jim, how
else
far
around.
west do we have to go before we can start using it?
What's that?
Roughly how far west do you have to go?
Here.
Following Highway 7 and 8 out to
Well,
Scottsdale.
basically, yeah.
Sorry, let me do this.
I can send you the link. I'll make up the link and send it to you. And
This isn't real big.
It's not a good map to use.
This is where we're situated is that blue. We're not moving very far, so sometimes it looks like an airplane and sometimes it doesn't. But that's 10 kilometers. KW Airport. Oh, that's even better. KW Airport is. Have I got a laser pointer here?
Use a green one.
Where's your certificate? In your spotter.
Red laser pointer. KW Airport is right underneath that 4 nautical mile sign right there. So 10 kilometers would be probably out here somewhere.
Well, now, what are those?
Those are nautical miles. So we got 10, although that's nautical miles. So nautical miles, that would be 16 kilometers, approximately 18.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's from the blue dot, right?
That's from the blue, we're at the blue dot. This is right here.
Okay,
Is the
and
blue
the
dot.
airport is at the 4.
4 nautical
So going
miles,
6
which
the other
is,
direction,
which is, a nautical mile is just over a statute mile, which is 1.6 kilometers. So,
It's much simpler. When I send out the, just click on the link I'll send out about the map. Because it's in kilometers.
We can send out this, PowerPoint as well, and it's got the link on it here.
Yeah, no, basically then we
But
gotta
I
be
can't look
past-
at it because we don't have internet.
Basically, a little
Past
bit
that
past the
Bay.
edge of Kitchener. I'd say.
Yeah,
That's
What's
what it
on
looks
the
like.
outskirts?
yeah, on the west side, for sure.
West side, yes, yeah. Nothing on the.
Just a second.
Sorry, I screwed you up.
No, that's fine.
Do you have, are you connected to the internet here?
I am not.
What's that?
I am not.
Not, okay.
Where are we here?
From current line.
Because in this, what Jim's talking about is this is the map where where everything is, that they have listed, all the airports that are, yeah. So that's, the map's behind that click there that you can't get to right now. You said, you expand it, your location, if you're not in the affected area, you can go, and if possible, you should record your GPS location for your event in case somebody asks as well. And then it's the center executive is the, if you're gonna hold an event, you need to apply to the executive. Now, if the executive's holding it, they should have been aware of that, I guess. At least 8 hours prior to the event. And that's simply an email if you want to do that, and that'll be exec. And if there's no questions, it's approved, and then you need to know who the users and the spotters are, and they need to be on the list of people that have the certificate.
Does the spotter need a certificate?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they both need to have taken this test and passed, which is what the certificate is.
So you're saying if we just go out to the place we like to go to is Telkers, which is quite a ways out of town.
Yeah.
We can't use the green laser pointers without getting, notifying you.
Without notifying Steve and Jim.
Or somebody within our own.
No, I'm the communications guy, so I have, whenever.
Jim's the guy.
Whenever, when anybody's going to Telkers,
Yeah.
I'll automatically assume there's a green laser out
Okay.
there.
Okay.
So, as part of the normal process, and I'm also the Star Party coordinator, so, whenever we have an event, and, it'll be more positive, because if it's an area where there's no green lasers, I'll make a note of that. But, I'll pick up your names. If you're going to Tilkers, I'll already know who's going out there in the emails on the observers list. And, so basically, let's just run like that, and hopefully I can keep up on it. Yeah, well, we're gonna need a rep in the club to be the OPI for this, the only person interested. And that person is gonna have to do the certifications and keep people, and keep the list up to date. So the next person that says something bad to me becomes the rep. Bad about me, of course. No, I don't really care.
So what you have to have a copy. Does everybody have a copy of their membership? Do we give out membership cards? And a permit and insurance with them during the event. I'll leave that up to Jim.
You can just, you can print it off.
I believe the membership card, when you renew your membership, you get a little email.
Yeah.
And there is an attachment in that
Yeah.
that you can't print out, that's your membership.
Yes, that's a RASC membership card. And the membership, whoops.
And you just laminate it to the side of your school.
There you go.
The membership card can be printed from the member section of the RASC website.
Yes.
And then the insurance copies can be required. The RASC insurance is apparently there as well. I haven't gone to the site to see what's happening there. And then only green laser pointers of 5 milliwatts or less,
Yeah.
but it's just noted here that if it's less than 1 milliwatt, it doesn't, you don't have to have a permit either. What's that?
Milliwatt?
Yeah.
It doesn't show very far.
Yeah, well,
Those go-
most green laser pointers, I'm assuming, will be more than one.
Yeah.
And then the police are like, how do I know it's a one? How do you look at it?
Can you be charged with simple possession if you have one in your car, you happen to be pulled over and they find it?
I don't.
Daylight or any kind?
You got.
I don't think the cops even know what's going on.
Yeah.
I think you gotta be using it, you gotta be
Yeah.
using
Yeah.
it.
You gotta be shining it.
It's like having your cell phone on your seat beside you. They gotta have some, although I've heard some stories of police, you look down to look at something and they think you're looking at your phone.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think.
Meanwhile, you're hiding your green laser.
Yeah. And
Jim, if there's more than one person using a green laser at a site, do each of them need a spotter?
that doesn't make sense, but some of these things don't make sense
But
anyway.
frequently at tilters, for instance, there
You
will be
need,
several.
yeah,
green
you
lasers.
need somebody, the spotter is to look for airplanes, and then yell, there's an airplane, don't use your green laser right here. So it makes sense that you would only need one spotter.
Okay.
But I don't know exactly what, let me find that out. But that would seem logical to me. And, oh, I keep hitting the wrong. Anything larger than 5 milliwatts is a public health hazard, so you can't, that's a Health Canada thing, that's not even Transport Canada. So, anybody have a green laser more than 5 milliwatts?
Mine says 5 millimeters.
Steve's back there with his hand up. You careful with that one, you're in trouble now. Lots of areas.
Mine's from China, and it says 5 kilowatts, but it is like, I hate to cut somebody open with it.
And then I'm not sure what these classes, class 3A or 3R are permitted, so I'm not sure. I don't have a laser, so I don't.
That's just the definition of the power and the type of
Right.
emission.
And then obviously the big point is that green laser pointers can cause disorientation in a cockpit if they're in the window, they're not in the window. And is a major concern for aviation safety. Spotter will be used, it doesn't say, there's no plural there, so spotter will be used at all times. And the GOP user will determine how many are required, but a minimum of 1 is required. And the spotter must be in a position to clearly observe when the GOP is being used and watch for aircraft that may fly into the area. Well, if you're 2 are using it within 10 feet of each other, why one spotter?
You can each be each other's spotter.
Yeah, well, in theory, that could happen. I would think you could do that. And then, obviously, you all know that aircraft have position lights of green and red and white, and they'll be flashing, so we should be able to see. And then obviously, a report, the executive, Jim's looking after that part of it. The executive knows the event will be provided to National Office for Transport Canada. Now, I'm not 100% up to speed on this, that we actually have to report it to National. Have we?
Every event we have that involves the public
What the?
gets reported to RASC.
Okay.
And I'll ask RASC if they're in the event report, they're going to say, add another box that says, was a green laser used.
Yeah.
That would probably.
Yeah. And the condition of the permit they have is to provide Transport Canada with the usage of the permit. How many times did this permit get used during the year? And that's obviously across Canada, all RASC centers. So if you want to keep the permit, report your events. And then it's up to the club that you're responsible for compliance with the permit, and if you don't follow the permit, you void your insurance coverage if something were to happen. That makes sense, I guess. So RASC is considered a positive influence on the public for GLP. So obviously, talking about GLP safety is important, and the hazards and that type of promotion. And that's the presentation.
Can you go back to the map there?
What map? The one I had on?
Did you have the map of Kitchener? Or Kitchener-Waterloo?
That, yeah. This is an aviation map. This is fourth.
It's not the same map.
It's not the same map.
Yeah, that doesn't matter.
The one we're looking for goes to transport.
Anyways, I don't know. I have been a pilot for like 30, 35 years or so. Anyways, I was coming in from the west. We came over from Kitchener, and we're coming over to the downwind of runway 24. It was one night in the winter, and
Here, I'll move it over a little bit so you can see
okay.
Pearson. Whoops, you don't want to have.
Well, it's right there, isn't it?
You have a microphone now, Johnny.
You should use it.
Well, I will. Can you hear me? I will.
You don't need it.
There's Pearson Airport right
Okay,
there.
so anyways, we come up into here, and then I was going down for this runway, and it was in the winter. Now, before I tell the rest of the story, where is the Dunlop Observatory? Is it over here somewhere?
Further west.
Oh, it's that further north? Okay, then it wasn't that. Okay. So anyways, as I was going downwind, we were coming in from 5,000 down to 3,000 feet, and then all of a sudden the cockpit just lit up green, right? And the first thing you do is what? Word all that, because it scared the shit out of me. Sorry. And my first officer, because the whole thing just lit up like.
If I was a passenger in the back, I hope you didn't tell me that you were scared.
So anyways, holy shit. So anyways, so the first thing that you do is like, you investigate around the cockpit, like what happened, right? Because it could be something electrical in the cockpit itself too. So first, you couldn't find anything, and then I look out the window, and guess what happened? I got blasted in the eyes. So, what I'm gonna say about this green laser, it sounds all hokey, right? And it sounds
Well,
all.
that's important.
But
I'm
I'm
a
not
private
kidding.
pilot as well. so-
I'm not kidding you. When I looked down, because I thought maybe, because this is when lasers were all being fun kind of thing, right? And then I got shot in the eyes, right? It was bright. But the other thing that I noticed too was, this was, I thought it was I gave credit, the benefit of the doubt, if you will, to somebody at the Dunlop, but apparently that's further north, you guys said, and somebody deliberately shot us in the eyes, right? So I looked down, and the first thing I remember was, you just stare, like, you know, you should just kind of, whatever, but you're in this moment of disbelief. The other thing is, when you're in that moment of disbelief kind of thing,
Aliens.
no, it's starting to rob your eyes of vision and stuff like that. So we did the report, and then when I landed, I got the first officer to land because it was my landing anyway, but I got him just in case, and we were done for the night, but the RCMP met us and they had to give a report about that big. So really, I think they're going to be taking it more
It's a serious thing.
more serious, like in the future, right?
Oh, yeah.
They had to actually try to be hitting you, they had to be aiming at you.
They would definitely
laser
were.
wasn't pointing way
No,
up.
they definitely were, because like I said,
Yeah.
the cockpit just lit right up, right?
That's criminal intent if they don't.
And then when I looked down, and one of the things that I remember the most is when you go to Walmart, you see the red laser, and it's the scanning thing, right? And it kind of swirls. I remember the green laser of the same type of thing, and it looked like it swirled like quite a bit, right? And it was just really odd, but it was damn bright. And I think it's because it splayed a wee bit.
Yeah, well, by the time it gets to 3,000 or 4,000 feet,
I was at 5.
it'll be wider than it is.
And that's why and there's some shiny knobs in the cockpit too, so it's just reflected and bounced like crazy. It was pretty bright, so I guess it is pretty serious. I'm sure you.
Oh, that's fine.
But it,
When I worked at Triumph way back, in the dim mist of time, they had some lasers there too. They weren't 5 milliwatts. And anybody who worked anywhere near these lasers had to go to the optometrist and get thoroughly tested.
Yeah.
So that they knew how your eyes were, so that if you got zapped, that they would be able to say, that was from the laser.
Don't shine your green laser in
Yeah.
anybody's eye.
Well, these lasers you would need a really big power cord and 2 guys to carry them around.
So a question.
Not megawatt, but
Maybe
kilowatt.
to Jim. So at the Perseus outreach on Columbia Ice Field 2 years ago, there was a lot of members of the public there with green laser pointers. And the bad thing is they were giving them to kids and they were showing them, so I'm telling them to stop. What's our position if we're now supporting that outreach to the university and members of the public are bringing them along? What can we do in terms of acting to stop them using them? Because that's clearly in the zone of no laser pointers.
Well, then you can tell them what they're doing is illegal.
And it-
But
it-
We're
it-
probably, right here,
Are we
we're probably
responsible-
about 10 kilometers from
But
the
are we
airport. right
responsible
here.
for that event? Because
Well, Howard, no, it's the same thing as if somebody was in a store and they were shoplifting. It'd be, what would your legal responsibility be? You don't have any, but it's since our event,
yeah.
we would definitely have to be, because
We-
we could not allow it to
Yeah,
continue.
so how do we approach it if we tell them to stop and they're continuing to use it, even if we say it's illegal to use them?
No, you'll call the police on it.
Or shut down the event and
Yeah.
complain and just say, hey, we're gonna have to shut down the event if you don't
No.
stop.
And we can tell.
We just
them-
need some guidance because
Yeah.
that happened 2 years ago. They were literally shining it at people's eyes, they nearly caught my
Yeah.
eyes, and it was
Yeah.
telling the adult,
The only
take that off your
time,
kid.
the only
Steve's got his
time
hand
I'll
up
let
back here.
somebody use a green laser on an event is when I'll let the, because kids are mesmerized by it. I'll let them hold it, but I'll have my hand on their hand.
But it wasn't even ours.
They
It was-
came with their
They
own.
came with.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And they've got, it's like the same thing as for the last few years, whenever I go to a talk, they've switched from using red lasers in, presentations to
Yeah,
using
really.
green lasers. And they actually hurt your eyes when it goes off the screen because the screen is designed to reflect light. And I've made it known to several, I've actually told Kitchener-Waterloo to stop that practice. And I've noticed in a lot of presentations in the last year or so, people are going back to red. But if you're at a presentation like that, and especially if there are children in the room, for God's sakes,
Probably
go up-
shouldn't even
Go up and talk to
point
the
that in your
speakers
eye.
afterwards and say, your laser is unsafe. And it's part of our mandate to educate the public, and you've got to get the word out, you've got to take personal
But I,
responsibility to do
yeah,
that.
I think it's worthwhile as a club, us having our own policy if we're going particularly into areas where now they are illegal. That if we see them, because if it's our event, if we don't tell people to stop using it, are we then liable as well?
Well, the Columbia ice field is certainly within
Yeah.
10 kilometers of the airport.
You could tell them about the $100,000 fine and 5 years.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to understand what is our responsibility if we do
Well,
nothing and just ignore it.
What I do at an
Talk
event,
about that.
Steve?
I would say, just based on what you said, Jim, that what we kind of do is if we set up an event, public shows up, one of the public, somebody we haven't authorized, starts using green laser, we tell them to stop. If they will not stop, then the event is canceled.
Yep.
Simple.
It's the only thing we can do.
It's
Yeah.
gonna cast a, if
Well-
that person carries on, even though we told them, they would stop.
Anyone that's not a member of RASC and has the certificate shouldn't have a green laser, period.
But if somebody comes who is, let's say, just a member
Yeah.
of the public and brings a green laser along,
every time I speak at a public event, I always say, I would like to use a green laser to point out things, but we can't because we're in an area where we can't use it. So any chance I get to educate people on it, I tell them about it. I said, so if you see green lasers around, they're not supposed to be used. Only people that are properly certified. And just now we have a proper definition of what we're doing. And the word we get from Mark Garneau, who's the Minister of Transport, he was actually coming to RASC for
Is
a
he
day
still the,
just to talk to us
is he
about
still the
this.
Minister of Transport?
Yeah.
Anyway, so,
I didn't look.
Mark, I know.
yeah, he's actually, it's got up to the, he was coming down to RASC in the springtime, and then something about some tragedy, some crisis in the government. kept it moving. But we still got a promise from him, so he's taken a personal interest in actually RASC's role in green laser pointers. So now that we know the rules of the game, we follow them and we become the authorities on it in this area. So it's also incumbent upon us to educate the public towards it. And we might even put a notice on, we should put a notice about it on the new website.
I was just going to suggest that because I just looked it up and Health Canada has, we could do a link to Health Canada handheld lasers and laser pointers where they explain the risk of radiation and the everyday things that emit radiation. So
That's a
that
Yeah, the Health Canada thing is simply, warning people that these things are dangerous. The Transport Canada has got some, once it becomes a regulation, it's gonna have some, right now it's an order, probably can be prosecuted, but once it becomes a regulation,
It also means, now we're adults here, so we understand that taking personal responsibility. If we're at Bayfield doing this and an aircraft flies over, we, of course, we cannot shoot at the laser. We cannot be using our lasers pointing at the aircraft because we're doing the same thing as if we were shooting at with a rifle. So,
Bayfield's a long way from a certified airport, so we're good there.
So, so this is what we've got to do. We've got to take personal responsibility for it. As an organization, we're getting it sort of an exemption because it's a total ban across the country except for a few things, and they understand that RASC is worthy of the responsibility of running this. So let's be responsible with this and make it an important thing and educate the public about it. And the next time you're at a presentation and they use the green laser, go up and talk to them.
Can you take the test online?
I'm not sure about that. What some clubs are doing, and I actually brought some here tonight. If anybody, I don't know whether anybody's got enough time or not. There's 20 questions. You can go through it and do the test, and we can take it up. And
We can do it at Montana's after we
could.
meetings.
And it's not onerous, because the objective when you do the test is you take the test until you know all the answers.
Yeah.
It's not that it's not a pass or fail. You just take the test, and then everybody takes it up, and you talk about the correct answers. And
the original intention was 6 months ago to put the test online.
Yep.
And once you completed it, it would print out a certificate for you. I don't know if they're still going to do that, but they probably will anyway.
They do it for power boats, so
Yeah.
it makes sense.
the email that came out with this presentation said the stuff had gone off. It's not online anymore. The tests themselves are not online right now. They were, but they were taken off for some reason. So I'm not. I can find out what's going on there. But that would be the ultimate thing. Just take the test.
Yeah.
Do the PowerPoint. Take the test. Sign off on it. But the club has to know that you're. If
Or it'd be
you're-
easy if it's done with the RASC site, it's just a matter of what affiliation you belong to.
Yeah.
But I don't know what other reasons they pull it
Yeah.
off.
But we're going to need a rep in the club to run it.
I was just going to suggest that it's probably in the best interest of the executive to have a written policy spelling out the use of laser pointers, because if they're responsible for authorizing the use, they're also responsible for the misuse, for possible misuse of the laser pointers. And if I was a member of the executive, I'd be a little concerned about that. And I would want to have a written policy in place.
So if I get you the RASC policy, can you rewrite it for us?
I'm not a member of the executive, so.
Oh, you really have to
I'm not
do it.
worried
You don't
about
have to
that.
be.
Yeah.
Do we have to
The
write
board
our,
doesn't do anything.
do we have to write our own policy or just make a recognition of the RASC policy, we adopt it and?
Yeah, I think that should be
That-
fairly
yeah.
simple.
Well, we could write an addendum to it just to be, put in specifics like specific sites that we're regularly using.
Yeah.
What's that?
We can take this offline and
But my personal feeling would be we should get this done initially from KWRASC National. And then, as I was mentioning, just cut and paste it into our own website. So the language is the same, the reporting structure is the same, terms are the same. That would make a lot more sense, because if we're reporting these events, they need to be fit in, and all the information that they're looking for in their forms need to be in our forms. So I think once they develop the forms, and we can farm it out to our folks. As I was saying to Jim before the meeting, I don't know that this is going to be a big issue for us over the next couple of months, because basically it's cloudy.
It'll light up a lot of clouds.
A lot of cloud will get illuminated with green lasers this time of year. But at some point it will, and I'm hoping we can have all of this done so that there will not be any questions about it. We'll have the people, certified spotters and operators and pointers. And I think at that point, we should be in a heck of a lot better position.
What a shame it had to come to this, though, isn't
Yeah,
it?
well,
It is.
idiots, man.
Yeah.
What can I say? Idiots, they ruin it for everybody.
I was at a KISS concert with my friends in Toronto, and
have
Paul
friends?
Stanley goes, the show is ending if you guys don't put down the lasers, because they're just blasting out all that thing in his eyes, right? But in the States here now, they're really taking it seriously, because there's a site called Laser Pointer Safety. This one guy, he's got between 1.5 years to 3 years in prison because he shone the laser at a medical helicopter, you know, the medevac type, like we see here, the orange. And so he got 1.5 years. But they're really going crazy on this, and they should be, because like, it is dangerous. But I'd like to say one more thing, is that there is a YouTube video, and they can see green lasers on the International Space Station. Where they did a test, right? And he's got some good videos that you just showed me that looked exactly what I had saw when I was in the planet.
The FAA gets over 200 complaints a day on green lasers.
All right.
Sorry, I'm just looking up. No, I'm looking up this green laser.
If you do green laser cockpit, you'll get some sample video.
And they're on set.
Good Lord. You gotta wait till that. You gotta wait till that.
I'm Maria
I don't
Martin.
have a
Started
premium
Towards
YouTube.
TNT. For supporters,
You gotta watch the commercial.
Hi, in this video we'll take a closer look at green laser pointers. They have become so cheap that lots of people now own them. May not be aware of a major safety issue with the
This
cheapness.
may not be one.
To save costs, an important component
I'm
fill
gonna
out
look at,
invisible
green laser aviation and see if I can get something.
We have projected eyewear at work for working with fiber optics. Because it works in infrared, it's invisible.
Oh.
It works.
CO2?
No, there's solid state. It's communications equipment. Not for welding.
They don't excite carbon dioxide from the infrared?
All I know is it takes 40 milliwatts to get 100 miles from
There's the view, and is that what it looked like?
Let's see how everything is right up. Piloting that airplane not to be able
Any more questions for Jeff?
Jim. What I will do is get a little, we've had some discussion here, get a little bit more about, I will follow up with KWRASC National about the actual paperwork stuff. And see what we can get on our website and how that works and that kind of stuff. I will do that.
Okay. Thank you, Jim.
Okay.
All right.
All I wanted to really
I guess you're not clerk.